quiet neighborhood in Oklahoma City was shaken by a terrible tragedy when a family of 5, known as the Candy family, was found dead in their home. This heartbreaking event has left the community in shock. The investigation is still ongoing, and police are trying to figure out what led to this tragic incident. The victims included both parents and their 3 children. In this story, we will explore the details leading up to the massacre, share information about the victims, and look at the investigation as authorities try to understand why this terrible crime happened. A wave of shock and grief has swept through the peaceful neighborhood of Oklahoma City following the devastating murder-suicide of the Candy family. A horrifying discovery was made when 4 members of the Candy family, Lindsay Candy, 39, and her 3 sons, Dylan, 18, Ethan, 14, and Lucas, 12, were found fatally shot inside their home. Their deaths were the result of a tragic murder-suicide committed by the father and husband, Jonathan Candy, 42, who turned the gun on himself after taking the lives of his family members. One glimmer of hope in this tragic tale is the survival of the Candy's 10-year-old son, who miraculously escaped and managed to place a harrowing 911 call, leading authorities to the scene. With no prior signs of domestic violence or family troubles, the motive behind this unimaginable act remains unknown, leaving many grappling with unanswered questions. A beloved family in the community. The Candy family was highly respected and deeply cherished within their community. Known for their kindness, warmth, and active involvement in local activities, the family had a positive impact on those who knew them. Lindsay Candy, the mother, was especially beloved for her dedication to her children. She was described as a nurturing and supportive figure, someone who always put her family first and encouraged her sons in all their endeavors. Her 3 sons, Dylan, Ethan, and Lucas, were bright, talented young men with promising futures ahead of them. Dylan, the eldest at 18, was known for his passion for music and sports. He was a talented musician and athlete, someone who effortlessly balanced his academic and extracurricular achievements. Ethan, 14, was a kind and compassionate young boy who was always eager to lend a helping hand to his friends and neighbors. He was well liked by everyone around him, known for his friendly demeanor and ever-present smile. Lucas, 12, was a joyful and intelligent child who brought laughter and happiness to everyone he encountered. His playful spirit and inquisitive nature endeared him to all who knew him. The surviving child, whose name has been withheld to protect their privacy, is now in the care of close family members and is receiving ongoing support from mental health professionals. In the face of this overwhelming tragedy, the community has rallied around the child, offering their support and prayers as they navigate the road to healing. The tragic discovery. On the day of the incident, police were alerted to the scene by a 911 call from the family's 10-year-old son. The call revealed the unimaginable horror the child had just witnessed. When law enforcement arrived at the Candy family's home, they found the bodies of Lindsay, Dylan, Ethan, and Lucas all fatally shot. The perpetrator, Jonathan Candy, was also discovered at the scene, having turned the gun on himself after committing the murders. According to the initial police reports, there was no evidence to suggest that Jonathan had a history of violence, nor were there any known domestic disputes within the family. The absence of such warning signs has made it even more difficult for the community and law enforcement to comprehend the motive behind Jonathan's actions. A community in mourning. The tragedy has shaken the Oklahoma City community to its core, leaving residents grappling with the profound loss of such a cherished family. Neighbors, friends, and acquaintances of the Candy family have expressed their disbelief over the senseless violence, struggling to come to terms with what has happened. One neighbor, Michael Burcham, spoke to local news outlets about the family, describing them as the kindest, sweetest, best people I've ever known in my whole life. He recalled how their home was often filled with laughter and joy, and how Lindsay was always the first to offer help to others. Burcham's sentiments have been echoed by many in the community who knew the Candys and witnessed the positive influence they had on those around them. The Oklahoma City Police Department has worked diligently to provide support to the community during this difficult time, offering counseling services and encouraging residents to lean on one another as they process their grief. Remembering the victims. As the investigation continues, the focus has shifted to remembering the victims and celebrating the lives they lived. Vigils and memorials have been organized to honor the memory of Lindsay, Dylan, Ethan, and Lucas. Friends, family, and community members have come together to share stories and pay their respects to the Candy family, who left a lasting impression on those who had the privilege of knowing them. The ongoing investigation. Law enforcement officials are continuing to investigate the circumstances surrounding this tragic event. While the motive behind the murder-suicide remains unclear, authorities have been working closely with the medical examiner's office to determine the exact cause and manner of death for each victim. Autopsy reports are expected to take several weeks or months to complete, and investigators are combing through every piece of evidence to uncover any possible explanations. At this time, there are no indications that the family had any prior history of domestic violence, which has left both investigators and the community searching for answers. Authorities are conducting interviews with family members, neighbors, and friends to try and piece together any information that might shed light on what led Jonathan Candy to commit such a horrific act. A community coming together. In the wake of this unspeakable tragedy, the Oklahoma City community has come together to support one another and offer their condolences to the Candy family's surviving child. A GoFundMe campaign has been launched to raise funds for the child's future, providing financial support as they navigate the road ahead. The response from the community has been overwhelming, with donations pouring in from both local residents and people across the country who have been touched by the Candy family's story. Vigils have been held to honor the lives of Lindsay, Dylan, Ethan, and Lucas, allowing the community to come together to remember the joy and love that the family brought into their lives. Local churches have offered counseling services, and mental health professionals are working closely with the surviving child to ensure they have the support they need during this difficult time. Moving forward. The loss of the Candy family has left a deep void in the hearts of those who knew and loved them. As the community continues to mourn, they are also finding strength in one another, coming together to heal and remember the lives that were lost. While the investigation into this tragedy is ongoing, the memories of Lindsay, Dylan, Ethan, and Lucas will live on in the hearts of their friends, family, and neighbors. Their legacy of kindness, love, and joy will never be forgotten, and the community will continue to rally around the surviving child, offering their support and love as they move forward together. The Candy family tragedy has deeply affected the Oklahoma City community, showing how fragile life can be and the terrible impact of violence. As the investigation goes on, the community stands together in grief and support for the child who survived. We can honor the memory of the Candy family by building a safer, kinder community for everyone. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more updates and news.